Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bound to Talk Football. I was going to say it's another Halloween episode, but we've never technically done a Halloween episode because I don't think it's really fallen on that category. Happy Halloween when you're seeing this. It is Thursday. We're recording this on Wednesday, but it will be Thursday when you record this. So happy Halloween, everyone. I really thought about dressing up, and I didn't have a costume. I had my Knoxville Raceway official shirt, so I could say I dressed up as my other job, but I was like, I'm not doing that. So, what was your favorite, if you remember, what was your favorite costume that you wore growing up?
Favorite costume? I mean, I went as Oppenheimer last year.
Really? Last year? I need to see a photo of that.
I'll try and find one.
Guys,
Oppie.
It's like one of my favorite movies.
I know, that's why I picked it. I love that movie.
My camera is being really glitchy. I have no idea what's happening, but oops, sorry. Paul, it's playoff time. We have playoff football on Friday night. The weather does look good considering all the rain we're getting Wednesday, Thursday. Weather looks good. Looks like we're going to avoid some rain games, which is great. I mean, if you're into that, I would have preferred some rain games, make things interesting, but yeah, playoffs. How about let's quickly touch on last week. Crazy, man. I mean, couple big upsets, couple games that kind of changed the cutoff. Not really. 5A, we were pretty much knew what was going to happen. Prairie misses the playoffs, which I know some Prairie fans were not happy about that. Ottumwa becomes, in my opinion, probably one of the first teams in years to miss the playoffs with 7 wins. 4A looked pretty chalk. I think everybody said the same. And then how about MOC Floyd Valley? Back up against the wall, just decided to destroy Bishop Heelan to solidify their playoff spot. So overall, Paul, I'd say week 9 was probably one of the best weeks of the regular season, truly.
Yeah, it was just week 8. The week before it was ridiculous as well. So we're just heating up right now. Got tons of good games coming up too in the playoffs. I'm excited.
We'll jump right into the playoffs. We're going to go through every game. Some might be quicker than others, but we'll touch on all of them for sure, and we'll go by pods. So we'll start out with Class 5A and Pod A. The number 1 seed, Iowa City Liberty, hosts number 16 seeded Waukee. The Warriors head on the road. Waukee took care of business and beat Council Bluffs Lincoln big, 66-7. Beckett Baker tore his ACL in the first drive of the game. I mean, all things considering, probably not going to play for the rest of the season. It is a huge loss for Waukee, but I will say they have a very talented running back core with Ben Case-Haub and Grant Gamble. Will Rivenberg is the starting quarterback now. You have a very talented wide receiver core, and they face Reese Reddick and Iowa City Liberty offense that can score a lot, but they also give up a lot. Is Liberty on upset watch, despite Beckett Baker being out?
I would definitely say that they're on upset watch. We've seen it just over and over again. Central Iowa team playing a Eastern Iowa 1 seed. And this is the scariest game for those teams because this Central Iowa team, they all play great competition all year. They always look good. Big key issues for me with Iowa City Liberty right now is their defense just gives up a lot of points. And if Beckett is not playing, we're seeing that's kind of the thing you want to be able to pounce on is having a good defense that can just make it so they can't even get to the end zone. Waukee can really run the ball well. Grant Gamble is one of the best backs in the state. And Maverick Inman, still big threat out there, out wide, is senior wide receiver. But this Liberty team has beaten Ankeny, so they beat a Central Iowa team, and they got a big win over Prairie too. But last week, kind of a weird week. I think you'd agree, Blake. It's 70-33 against.
They were trailing in this game at one point, I think.
Yeah, I think at one point, or at least
21-20 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah. So defense, big concern for a lot of people with Iowa City Liberty. Who you got, Blake?
I was hoping you were going to. I don't know, man. This is a really tough game. I want to say Liberty just because they've really done a good job this year. They're winning. I mean, they're winning. They're staying consistent. But on the other hand, I think Waukee is a very talented team. They're getting better. I mean, they know that they haven't won the big games that they were supposed to, minus the Waukee Northwest game. And even then, it wasn't a great game for them. They still gave up 29 points. Now, granted, Waukee Northwest is very good. I'm going to use my CIML Metro bias. I think Waukee goes on the road and wins. I think it's going to be a great game. I just like Waukee's rushing attack a little bit more. So give me the Warriors. 16 versus 1. We'll take it again.
Ooh.
Tail is old as time.
Firing to start this episode. Me personally, I'm going to go with Liberty here, and I usually would lean the Central Iowa team. I just think the loss of your starting quarterback is just such a bigger deal. Now, I think there's definitely a clear path for Waukee to win this, and the spread, if I could say that, would be like 3 points for me still. It's a super close game. But I'm going to stick with Liberty. I think just the 16 seed teams we've seen beat the number 1 seeds that were just a little more talented squad. And that's my reason there.
The winner of that game will play the winner of Linn-Mar at Ankeny. This game kicks off at 8:30 Central Time. Excuse me. 8:30 Central Time, because Ankeny, Centennial, and Iowa City High will play at 5:30 beforehand. So this is a home game for Ankeny. This is fun. Ankeny and Linn-Mar. Ankeny is 5-4. Linn-Mar is 7-2. Ankeny has been the most hit or miss team I have ever seen, but they've won 4 out of their last 5 games here going into the playoffs. It's a weird kind of 4 out of their last 5, because they beat City West, they beat Prairie, they beat Valley, and they beat Washington, but they lost to Liberty. Linn-Mar, on the other hand, coming off 4 out of their last 5, but they lost last week to Pleasant Valley, took a 2-point conversion stop to beat Iowa City High, and then also beat Cedar Falls by 1 score. So Linn-Mar's been in close games, but I think Ankeny's bigger, and I'm going to roll with the Hawks to get it done at home.
Yeah, I think this Ankeny team gets it done as well. I'm going to agree with you. I just think, the 8-9 seed type of thing that we've got going on, I'm going to take the Central Iowa team to get it done. Ankeny's won some huge games this year. They've seen really good talent. And I think that running attack is going to be big this game. Daniel Larme, Hankis, I think that's a big one. Luke Anderson has had quite the season we probably expected, but I think he gets it going. So I'm going to go with the Hawks. Alumni, so maybe I'm just biased.
I think it'll be a great game. Pod B, Cedar Falls. We'll go to Dowling Catholic. And by to Dowling Catholic, I mean this game's being played at MediaCom Stadium. So that's really fun. Great facility. It's a great facility. Dowling Catholic is 8-1. Cedar Falls is 5-4. Dowling and Cedar Falls have only played once in the Bound era, dating back to 2006. Dowling won thanks to a 15-point unanswered fourth quarter to come back and upset Cedar Falls in the playoffs. That was when Cedar Falls had only lost no games, and then Dowling beat them. This will be really interesting. I talked to both Wilson and Remmert yesterday for the Central Iowa Sports Network pregame show, and Remmert and Wilson, I mean, even Wilson on the other side, this is the first time Cedar Falls is truly healthy. They have been banged up all year. They've barely lost games. I mean, they've beat Johnston. They could only have 1 or 2 losses right now, but they're 5-4. They've won out because the back half of their schedule has been much easier than the beginning of their schedule. And then on the other side, you have a Dowling Catholic team, Paul, that kind of reminds me of Southeast Polk last year in the fact they keep winning the close games. Minus the loss to Ankeny. I mean, they've continued to win the close ones. Centennial, Southeast Polk, Valley. This is going to be interesting. I like Dowling here, but don't sleep on Cedar Falls at all in this game, especially with Devarian Clark.
Yeah, if I'm Dowling, you go 8-1 in Central Iowa. You're feeling on top of the road, and then you see you have to play Cedar Falls.
Who is
That's
not
your draws. You're a 2 seed. They're definitely a little. I mean, as a coach, I'd be a little upset just because of how good your season was, and then compared to Johnston or Valley, who you beat is playing, in our both opinions, would say easier teams. This is a kind of scary. We saw Cedar Falls do it last year with Southeast Polk, where they barely lose on the road.
Beat Kennedy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, they're scary to play in the playoffs. They're one of those Eastern Iowa schools that actually, history-wise, competes with
they're known to be tough.
Yeah, they're tough to beat. So I'm gonna go Dowling here. I think it's close. It could get really scary, especially with how Dowling's keeping games close. close, but I'm going to stick with the Maroons to get it done. But Dowling also, I mean, they've had some playoff trouble the past couple of years. So
Yeah, they have.
keep an eye. This is a scary one.
The winner of that game will play the winner of Iowa City High, heads to Centennial. This game is at 5:30 at Ankeny Centennial or Ankeny Stadium. Centennial is 7-2. Iowa City High is 6-3. City High is on top of the world. They have come off a win against Bendorf. They just crushed the number one team in the state who hadn't lost yet. They did lose to Linn-Mar by 1 point on the failed 2-point conversion. Before that, they beat Kennedy Central North, had been cruising through their schedule. Centennial's won 4 out of their last 5. Their only loss coming in overtime to Dowling Catholic. But other than that, Centennial's wins have been East, Roosevelt, Northwest, and Urbandale. Take that as you will. Statistically, Paul, jumping into it, I could have swore if you would have told me that City High had more rushing yards than than Centennial, I would have thought you were lying. But City High has more rushing yards than Ankeny Centennial. It's not by much, but really, I truly believe this game will be won by the quarterback. Personally.
Yeah. Chase Glover's been playing good, and Bobby Bacon. Obviously, we've known his name for a while now. He's been good for a while. I like Centennial here to get it done pretty comfortably. This is a team that I think we all agree was a miracle fourth quarter comeback away from being 8-1 and being Dowling right now, playing Cedar Falls. Yeah. Honestly, they might be a little happy, but they will have to play either one of those teams eventually, either way. So Braden Jackson's just been on a tear this season, especially in the big ones. He's been just dropping 300-yard games or 200-yard games and 3 touchdowns every game, it feels like, in these like big ranked matchups. So give me Centennial. I think their defense is really good too. Passing game, you're right. We want to see that get going, but I'm going to rock with the Jags.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think City High is a really good program. They've always been a really good program. But yeah, I think Centennial should take care of business here. All right, Pod C. Well, this is a good pod. This is a really good pod. Iowa City West goes on the road and takes on Bendorf. Iowa City West is 5-4. Bendorf is 8-1. Paul, according to some of the old heads in the state, Bendorf threw the game last week, apparently. That's what they're saying. Bendorf threw the game. They didn't care. They just, I don't know. Apparently you can throw a game in Iowa high school football, and that's a thing. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard for anybody that actually thinks that. But here's the thing about these two teams. City West has been killed in this game recently in terms of how things have gone. I mean, Bendorf is 10-2 in the last 12 matchups against these two teams. City West is the most inconsistent team in the state. They lost to Ankeny, but then turned around and beat Pleasant Valley, and then they lost to Prairie last week. Meanwhile, Bendorf has taken care of their schedule, a couple close games. They survive Prairie, and then they lose last week to Bendorf. I mean, who recovers better from a loss? That's really what this game is going to turn into.
Yeah. Bendorf, we know, just had a great year. Iowa City West, kind of up and down roller coaster year, and then they have that huge win over Pleasant Valley that kind of flipped the state or put the state on notice. Jack Wallace has been playing insane ball for the Trojans. Bettendorf, just team-wise, has been really good defensively, and they run the ball really well this year. And they can also sling it a little bit. So I think there's some injury concerns. I know Mason Woods was taken out, I think, week 9 against Prairie due to an injury. And no news on how severe that is or anything. But I think that Bettendorf gets it done. And it's a close one. And I definitely think City West is a scary team to play, but I think they get it done.
I think Bendorf doesn't like everyone thinking that they're vulnerable now. You lose the last week and everyone's like, oh, finally. I mean, geez, they're going to lose eventually. I think this is a team that comes out with fire. I think they're ready to go. I think Bettendorf quiets people for a little bit and takes down Iowa City West. Southeast Polk, the winner of that game will take on Southeast Polk. Your defending 3-time state champion Southeast Polk. They make their way back to the playoffs. They will take on Pleasant Valley. If you are Pleasant Valley, the CIML has not been kind to you the last 4 or 5 years. It just hasn't. Plain and simple. Has not been kind to you. I'm pretty sure PV has been beaten by a CIML team every year in the last 5 years. Even when they've made it to the Dome, I think they've been beat by a CIML school, obviously. This is a team Pleasant Valley, 2,755 yards on the ground. They love to run the ball. They don't really pass the ball a ton, but they do at an efficient rate. And then you have Holden Hansen on the other side. Sam Zelenovich may or may not play. I know he was possibly doubtful for an injury. Are the defending state champions going to win, Paul? Are they going to stay alive? Is the drive for 4 still alive? Or is PV finally going to get over that hump and beat a CIML team in the postseason?
Yeah, this is a really tough game to pick. Southeast Polk has been a team that has been good pretty much all year, except barring 1 week where they lost to Johnston 34-0. Holden Hansen's been getting better every week, and then PV's coming off a nice win against Limar. Pretty statement win, easily 14.1. Big thing for me here is Southeast Polk this year, unlike many Southeast Polk teams, just can't run the ball consistently. They barely broke 1,000 yards this year. They got 400 yards as their leading rusher. And I think literally Abu Sama is a 1,500-yard rusher, and so was CJ Phillip. It's tough call. I think I'm gonna go with the upset here with the Rams. I think you can get an inspired effort from the Rams defense, and Cooper Martinson's a guy we've talked about for a while. It's been really good on defense, and if Sam Zelenovich is playing, I'm a lot more confident. But I think that Southeast Polk team gets it done.
For some reason, I see this being a very low-scoring game. I don't know why. I just feel like this is going to be a game where you don't see a lot of points. I think PV is tired of the narrative that I was saying earlier. I think PV goes out and wins against Southeast Polk. So, yeah, give me the Spartans. I think Pleasant Valley gets it done and advances on in Pod C. Pod D, Sioux City East will go to Valley to take on the Tigers. Valley is a little beat up. A little beat up. I mean, it's not great, but they're figuring it out. They take on a Sioux City East team led by Cal Jepson, who slings the rock, 2,249 yards and 23 touchdowns. Sioux City East coming off the loss to Johnston, 35-14. They lost to Southeast Polk, 48-3. Valley has won 4 out of their last 5, only losses to Ankeny by 3. All things considered, I don't think McGregory and or Robinson, who are both kind of beat up, I don't think they need to play this game, honestly. I think Valley's the better team. And when I talked to Coach Swenson yesterday, he said that. He's like, we are the better football team. We just have to play a full game, so on and so forth. Drake DeGroat has struggled a little bit. There have been a couple questionable things the last couple of games, but I think he eventually gets it going. It's really just, I think the running game is going to work for Valley. Sioux City East doesn't have much of a running game. I just like Valley. I think Valley cruises here against Sioux City East.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I think Valley gets it done. They have talented, even without Zay and Jay, they're just as talented. I think they get it done pretty easily, and I think this is a game where if Zay and Jay are playing, it's a quick stream. They're getting pulled second quarter potentially, just to get healthy, because no reason to risk injury, I feel like.
And finally, the winner of that game will face 6-3 Waterloo West, going on the road to take on 7-2 Johnston. Waterloo West, miracles happen. They scored late, scored in the final minute against Atumwa to defeat the Bulldogs, knock Atumwa out of the playoffs. Waterloo West makes it. I'm happy for them. I am so happy for them and that entire program. That's awesome. Awesome to make the postseason. That being said, they have not fared well against the CIML teams that they have played this year. Johnston is on a different level right now, and I truly think they could possibly win it all if they play to the best of their abilities and Will Nuss goes out and does Will Nuss things. I think Johnston could win the whole thing. I think Johnston cruises here against Waterloo West.
Yeah, right there with you. Just a better team. Johnston's been on a tear. That defense is probably going to force some turnovers in this one. I mean, there's no reason to doubt the Dragons in this one, so give me Johnston.
Johnston Valley rematch would be very good. Very good. Yeah. Valley won that thing, not handily, but took care of business last time. But I think it'll be a good game.
Never want to see a team twice.
No. I think of this Johnston team reminds me of the one that made it a couple of years ago. The one that upset Ankeny, and it was like, whoa. So, all right, Class 4A, here we go. Pod A, Fort Dodge goes to North Polk. I'll tell you what, Paul. I didn't have North Polk going to the Dome in the midseason Dome predictions. I am wrong. North Polk is very good, and I mean very good. beat ADM last week, took care of business. Fort Dodge beat Spencer. I'll give Fort Dodge that. They have been a surprising team this year, personally. That being said, it's a home game for North Polk. Give me the comments.
Yep. Right there with you. Nathan Feldman been ridiculous. That win over ADM, the way they did it was just crazy. They dominated.
And BJ Tate showed up. I mean, that was the big, it wasn't just Nathan Feldman who showed up. I mean, BJ Tate started showing up. I mean, you're like, dang, if these two can get rolling, now you can't figure out who's going to get the ball.
Yeah, the rushing attack is looking terrifying by North Polk. Fort Dodge, crazy good season without Drayshawn Ross being hurt.
And they will be good next year, I can tell you that.
They will be good next year. They got True McBride back and Tytrell Mosley. I like North Polk in this, but North Polk. I think I just said North Polk.
North Polk.
I got the comments, but Fort Dodge is tough draw and gotta go on the road against a 1 seed. You're not exactly feeling good about it.
This next game is crazy good. The winner of Fort Dodge North Polk will take on the winner of Cedar Rapids Xavier and Norwalk. Xavier has to go to Norwalk because Norwalk didn't lose a single district game. This Norwalk team is hot, man. I mean, they haven't lost in the district. They've kept winning. They go against a Xavier team that, while this year might not be the year, I mean, next year's they're going to be a wagon next year, considering what they return. I got to roll with Norwalk. As much as I've continued to pick Xavier here in and here out, Norwalk is winning, and they're winning at a good rate. Glenwood last week was a little tricky, 29-26. Xavier, obviously, the loss to Clear Creek Amana. It's like, dang, dude. I mean, what happened? Nothing against Clear Creek Amana. I think they're a very good team, but I got to go with Norwalk, man. I got to go with a hot hand, you know?
Yeah, that win over Lewis Central is the big one that everyone circles with Norwalk. That was a huge win and pretty dominant showing, too, on the road. That Xavier is kind of had a up and down season, I'd say.
It's a weird year. How'd they beat Williamsburg?
Yeah, they beat Williamsburg, who's a
well,
really
speaking of, we'll get to Williamsburg.
So we'll get to that. It's a really tough pick. I think I gotta go Norwalk too, just because of how hot they've been. Ooh, I don't know. It's just tough because Xavier in the playoffs. I mean, we know how good they are.
Recently, it hasn't. I mean, last year lost to North Polk in the quarterfinal. You know, I mean, I don't know, man. But before that, that was them and Lewis Central in the Dome every year. So
yeah, tough.
I don't know. I have to see. I just somehow clicked off my scores. That's not what I want. We'll go to the next one. Newton, Pod B. Newton goes to Decorah. The Vikings are without their starting quarterback, and that really stinks. Lewis Buxa, he is not playing. We assume he's probably out for the whole year. They did still take care of business last week with the win over Waterloo East, beat Western Dubuque 10-7. Newton lost to Gilbert, and they lost to Pella. The Gilbert game was like a whoa. Pella only lost by 7. What do you think, Paul? Can Decorah's defense carry them enough to get past a Newton team that likes to score the ball?
I think it does. Not. I actually am going to go Newton. I think that QB is just too just almost pulled a Pat McAfee. I think the Newton, they're going to take advantage of the quarterback not being there. Louis Buxa, who's having a great year, and sucks that there's injuries. But this is a team that's played some really high-level teams. Gilbert one was kind of scary if you were to pick against them, but I have to go Newton.
I don't know, man. That was a good fake out. Shout out Newton, man. They're going to be good next year.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Newton's going to be a top 5 team in the preseason polls. I can tell you that. Decorah wins. Give me Decorah's defense. It's a trip, man. Newton up to Decorah. I mean, that's not fun. That's not a fun trip. Give me Decorah to get past Newton. But Cardinals will be good next year. I'll give them that. Western Dubuque at North Scott. This is a classic. Like, this just feels like 6-3 might be the final score. North Scott is 7-2. Western Dubuque is 6-3. North Scott, these two teams play a lot, aka they played earlier this year. Western Dubuque won 21-7. Western Dubuque is 3 out of their last 5 in victories. Their only losses are to Waverly Shell Rock and Decorah. They did not. I mean, the Decorah game they kind of showed up, but the Waverly Shell Rock game was kind of like a whoa. And North Scott's only loss in the last 5 games has been Xavier. They did beat Clear Creek Amana. You don't want to play a team twice. That's what we've always talked about. But I got to roll with North Scott. Revenge.
I'm going to roll with them as well. I think Chase Smith's been playing great ball. And this is a team that has rattled off 3 straight wins, and that Clear Creek amount of win looks pretty impressive now, just 28-7. So give me North Scott.
Boy, we could have a crazy team come out of this pod. Not saying that none of them are good, but with the Decorah quarterback injury, it sure tosses things up in the air.
Yeah.
Clear Creek Amana goes on the road to Pella. CCA, give tons of credit to CCA. I mean, they have fought their way back. Many people consider them out. We thought they were out. We thought they were going to get killed by Xavier. CCA turns around and beats Xavier. Pella, on the other hand, lost last week, 14-7. Shout out Gilbert. We'll get to Gilbert in a second, but I don't know. This is going to be really good. Like I'm saying, this is going to be a really good game. Clear Creek Amana is playing with a new fire underneath of them. They are going to be good next year with the Conlon Poynton. I believe that's maybe your name, man. He is a dog, man. 12 touchdowns in the air, 16 on the ground, almost 1,000 in each category. I got to roll with the Dutch. I just got it, but it's going to be really close. But Pella, I've said it all year. Coach McKinstry, it's his final year. They want to go out on top. Give me Pella here. Yeah,
Pella's probably the safe pick here. Like it's the one, but Clear Creek Amana beat Xavier 28-24. And we know Pella and Xavier was a close one. This is tough. I'm kind of surprised Massey Ratings has this kind of a blowout in Pella's favor. I think this is gonna be a close one, but
yeah,
I agree.
Just been picking what Massey picks?
No, I've flipped multiple times. They don't like Norwalk at all.
Oh wow,
they don't like Norwalk at all.
All right.
So I'm gonna stick with Pella, but
all right, there we go. Pella Dutch. Waverly Shell Rock on the road, 6-3, taking on Gilbert at 8-1. I'm all in, man. All in. I don't understand it. They don't have a passing attack, but they just keep winning games. And especially last week, 14-7. I mean, they showed up in a game that they needed to show up. Will Hawthorne is a different animal. The funniest comment I saw was we posted that final score, and the top comment on that post was, "That's the team right there." And it's just a picture of Will Hawthorne in the graphic. Their team is more than Will Hawthorne, and it takes a team to win games like this. You take on Ethan Bibler and a Waverly Shell Rock team that has, been a weird team, but they've won 4 out of their last 5. Granted, those wins aren't crazy. The Western Dubuque win's good, but they lost to Decorah 28-7. Gilbert's only losses to Bondurant. What a year for Bondurant. But they beat Newton. They beat Pella. Only gave up 7 in those 2 games separately. Gilbert gets it done here at home. Don't fail me, Gilbert, because I know this is the game that I pick you, and then you turn around and get upset.
Yeah, I'm going to rock with you too. I think that Gilbert gets it done. How about this for a stat? Their leading wide receiver has 45 yards, and it's Will Hawthorne.
Wow. Was that on one play?
There's teams that get that. No, 3 receptions.
Okay.
There's teams that get that in a single play.
Never seen a team this high up in 4A. I've never seen a team be so one-sided in 4A this bad.
This even rivals like a Wes Hancock. Like,
yeah,
45 receiving yards is your leading receiver.
I mean, Bedford. Think of Bedford last year, and that's 8-player. Bedford never passed the ball, so it's like, ugh.
Not even one like play action bomb.
It's risky. Well, just wait. They'll make it to the Dome. I can see it now. They make it to the Dome, late drive, tied, maybe down by 2 or down by 4, where you can't get a field goal. And what happens? Their quarterback, play action fake. Boom. Miracle. You get chills. Just think about it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, give me the Tigers. I'm confident. I agree with you. I've doubted them the past couple of weeks now. So
sets up an insane Pella Gilbert rematch, which I couldn't tell you who would win that game.
Really sucks that they won the game for kind of nothing.
Yeah, because they didn't move. That's a different conversation for a different day, but they didn't move after they beat Pella. Ballard at Lewis Central in Pod D. Ballard sneaks into the postseason. Lewis Central, obviously the loss to Norwalk. Give me Lewis Central here. Ballard's a good team. Very good defensively. I don't think there will be a lot of points in this game, but I like Lewis Central.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think it's similar mindset here. Ballard's got a good defense. They can upset teams with it, but I think Lewis Central gets it done comfortably there.
And then the way the districts work, I'm not even going to try to figure it out. ADM at 7-2 has to go to Spencer at 6-3. Spencer's coming off the loss to Fort Dodge after winning 4 out of their last 5. ADM, obviously, the loss to North Polk. So both these teams are coming off the loss. I just like ADM's firepower a little bit more. I think offense leans to the Tigers here.
Yep, I'm going to agree here. I think Hudson Troll's been terrific. His senior season's going to be sweet. And I think that Spencer, just after that Fort Dodge loss, it's hard to stay confident. So give me ADM.
Class 3A, Pod A, Clear Lake at Humboldt. Paul, this game, everybody, I've seen some rumblings. Everybody's like, this is it. This is the game. Clear Lake takes the step. But I have picked against Humboldt all year, and I can't do it again. Humboldt takes care of business, but watch out. Clear Lake, they did play earlier this season. What was the final score? 23-13. Mm-hmm. Humboldt does it again and wins.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, and it's mainly just because I've doubted them. It's like the same exact thing. I've doubted them, I feel like, every big game. So give me Humboldt, Cohen Matson, keep it going. But, hey, this Clear Lake team, beginning of the year, everyone thought was the big bad wolf in this district. So give me Humboldt, but it's going to be close.
The winner of this game will take on 7-2 Solon, who goes on the road to district champion 7-2 Benton Bobcats. Here we go. We've seen this before. Benton won this game 21-20. Benton is on a tear. What is going on with this Benton team? Have you watched any film on this team? They're kind of unbelievable. How do you only give up? How do you shut out Williamsburg?
The secondary is really good, and the defense front seven is really. I can't believe, like we talked about it multiple times now, preseason. You're telling me that neither Solon or Williamsburg wins this district, I'd be like, no.
Benton only beat Fairfield 29-14. Nothing against Fairfield, but like, what?
Yeah,
I don't want to pick against
Williamsburg against Benton. Went 16 for 22 passing with 100 yards. And so sound tackling, I mean, Williamsburg uses a lot of screens, a lot of quick passes to get the passing game going. But I have to.
They're on a roll call. Can't do it.
This sucks for Benton to have to play Solon after upsetting them.
It's a bad draw. It is a terrible draw.
And I hate to say it, but I think Solon gets it done.
Oh, man.
Everything in my being doesn't want that to happen.
I'll go with Benton. Let me ride the train. They are on a high right now. Give me Benton to get this done. What a team. What a team of destiny. Yeah, it's going to be an insane game. Expect no points. Again, no points. Final score might be 3-2. Don't know. But it's going to be close. Pod D, MLC Floyd Valley coming off the huge upset blowout. Heads to Sergeant Bluff Luton to take on the Warriors. What was the final score the first time these two teams met? Because this is just a district game again, unfortunately. It was 45-21. It's hard to make up 24 points, but we've said that in previous years. I know we've said that in previous years. But that being said, Sergeant Bluff Luton is huge, dude. They are big, and they are very strong. Give me Sergeant Bluff Luton to win this game.
Yeah, I got to rock with them. They've been just a wrecking ball this year, and their rushing attack is insane. So give me the Warriors, but MLC is a scary team, a scary draw. They're talented. Albers has been really good this year. So not a cupcake for being a top seed, but give me Solon's. Me and Sergeant Bluff Luton.
Winner of that game takes on Bishop Heelan. Has to go to Nevada. Bishop Heelan, the driving is not fun in this district in terms of the next game, possibly. Bishop Heelan at 6-3 goes to Nevada at 7-2. The Cubs do win the district despite kind of the ties and whatnot. It's just kind of how it worked out. They did win the district. What's happening to Bishop Heelan, man? Lost 2 in a row. I mean, in not close games. Sergeant Bluff Luton and then MLC Floyd Valley. Nevada's only lost in the last 5 games is Harlan by 3, and then they got rocked by PCM. They're not bad losses. Those are 2 playoff teams. Of all Nevada teams that can make it to the Dome, I would think it'd be funny if this is the year they make it, because I like last year and the year before that, I think those teams were very good. Anthony Eaton is just as good as a running back as Cason Thomas. Cason Thomas is huge. He's going to be tough for Nevada to tackle. But give me the Cubs. I like Nevada to get the win here and advance on. It's a long drive for Bishop Heelan.
Yeah, that is a long drive, and I'm going to agree with you. I think that Nevada gets it done. We've been high on Nevada. Last year obviously was kind of like the sleeper year. We thought you were a big Nevada guy last year.
I was. I have been.
And this year we just the hype train really. I feel like the state even just as
it's quiet. I mean, nobody has talked about
it. Probably because that district just overall wasn't as insane this year, insanely loaded as usually. So yeah, give me Nevada, but Bishop Heelan's a dynasty, man. They're in the championship last year, so watch out.
Talk about a quiet team that nobody's talking about. 4-5 Assumption goes on the road at 9-0 Wahlert Catholic. We have not talked about Wahlert Catholic at all, but have quietly put together a phenomenal season. And the thing is, I don't think there's anything that really jumps off the page. These two teams did play earlier this year, 38-21 victory. I'm going to be completely honest. Assumption makes the playoffs because the district just is not good. I mean, it's just I don't know what else to tell you. It just wasn't a very hard district. They got smoked by Mount Vernon 46-14. That's one of their losses. And then obviously they didn't win in district play. But they they didn't win in non-district play, but they beat the teams that they should have beaten in district play. I think Wahlert Catholic cruises here again against Assumption.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you. Their rushing tech has been insane at 8 yards of carry. I think they get it done. I completely agree with your points there. They got in because the district just wasn't that good this year.
Williamsburg, the winner of that game will take on Williamsburg at Independence. Williamsburg has to go on the road because they finished second in the district. But tough draw for Independence. You would not have thought that you were getting Williamsburg, but you got Williamsburg. This is a team that can pass the ball. I mean, Independence can pass the ball. They're kind of like Williamsburg. Do they pass it at the same rate? No. Williamsburg just got shut out, 0 points last week. I'd feel much better about this game if they didn't get shut out. I'm sure Independence will be watching Benton film like a hawk. Independence, though, they give up points. They gave up 30 last week to Center Point Urbana. Only gave up 7 to West Delaware. They lost to Wahlert Catholic 17-10. I like Williamsburg to win this game. I like Williamsburg to win here on the road.
Yeah, they're just so talented. It'd be really tough to see them be first-round exits. Grant Hawker's having a crazy year, and Ray Heidman obviously is leading their team in tackles and receiving yards and doing it at his same clip, 1,000 receiving yards, 20 touchdowns. Give me Williamsburg, but I think this is a scoring matchup where both teams score quite a bit, but I think it's a comfortable win for Williamsburg.
Harlan on the road at Algona. Shout out Harlan, man. It wasn't looking good for a little bit. Did they make the playoffs last year? I don't think they did. I think they missed it. Take on Algona, 8-1. Algona does not have Alex Bensky. But they've won their last 2 games without him. Hung on against Webster City and then beat Hampton Dearmont Cal 31-6. Harlan is 4 out of their last 5. Their only losses to Creston 42-43. Boy.
Tough.
A championship winning DNA wins this game. Harlan wins on the road.
That's big. I'm going to stick with Algona here. And I know without Alex Mansky, it's been kind of just almost a write-off of Algona. Very justifiably so. It's a best quarterback in the state that just isn't going to play for your team. And you're also in 3A, so it's not like you got some kid coming up. But the kid coming up happens to be Alex Mansky's brother. And he's gone 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in his 2 games. Same completion percentage. I know there's some O-line worries with Algona, and that could be kind of worrisome later. But Evan Alley's been great this year. Tate Slagle's been great this year. William Weikart's been great. They still have Limbaugh. I'm going to go with Algona. But Harlan's a scary team, but I think we're just kind of seeing a little bit of a drop-off. And I think this is a good year for Harlan. Not to write them off. They
are the winningest playoff team ever. Probably will be that for a long, long time. Winner of that game plays Carroll at Mount Vernon. Oh, what a drive. They didn't get any favors. They didn't get any favors. That is a tough draw. Carroll goes to Mount Vernon. Carroll is 6-3. Mount Vernon is 8-1. Who's Mount Vernon's only loss? I know they beat Benton. Now you got to think they have played in the same district as Assumption, so not the best district by any means.
They lost to Solon in that one game. It was like 6-7.
Okay, so their only losses to Solon. Carroll is 3 out of their last 5 with losses to Sergeant Bluff, Luton, and Bishop Heelan. They did beat MOC Floyd Valley 41-21. Don't sleep on Carroll here. I think this is a team that can beat anybody. They have a very good rushing attack. I just like Mount Vernon a little bit better in the drive. It's not fun to drive that far on a bus, whether that be a charter bus or something. Give me the Mustangs to get the win here.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you. I think the team that Carroll beat in MOC Floyd Valley is a little different now. I think MOC Floyd Valley is playing full steam right now. So give me Mount Vernon. This could be a kind of a defensive game, and Mount Vernon does throw the ball at a high clip and has quite a bit of interceptions, so that's worrisome. But give me Mount Vernon and get it done. A lot of juniors on this squad. So
yeah, going to get interesting. Class 2A, Pod A, Western Christian at West Lyon. What was this game? 13-0? Am I correct in that? West Lyon won this game. Western Christian, I just feel like has limped a little bit here. I don't know. I just feel like it's a classic, who did you beat beforehand? Western Christian has won 3 out of their last 5, losses to Central Lyon, and West Lyon obviously beat Okoboji 41-28. West Lyon has just cruised. They just don't give up anything. Give me the Wildcats to win here. I think it'll be a little bit more points than we saw the first time around.
Yep, I'm exactly agree with you. I think West Lyon gets it done. They've been super dominant this year. Defense is insane. I think they continue that success against Western Christian, even though it's kind of the only close game West Lyon had was Western Christian. So maybe there's something there, but I think they're too good.
Winner of that game, Central Lyon, George Little Rock, and Kemper Catholic. That is who the winner of that game will play, whatever. Kemper is 8-1. Great year for the Knights. Brock Batting has played really well. Jaron Hoffman, only a sophomore, has played well. So both these teams return a lot next year. Jaden Dale, sophomore quarterback for Central Lyon. And then Sedam, sophomore running back for Central Lyon. I like the Knights here just a little bit more. They're on a good little winning streak. They have not played, I don't think, as tough as a schedule as Central Lyon has. I just think Kemper has the offense to keep up and take care of business here.
Yeah, it's a interesting matchup. Central Lyon's pretty young, I'd say, especially on offense this year. And Kemper has batting, who's pretty experienced. He played sophomore year. He's played really good all year this year. So give me Kemper in this one. I think it's close, and I actually would say it's a very big upset watch here. I think that Central Lyon is a real shot at winning this one, but I just got to stick with Kemper here. 8-1.
Yeah, good game. Pod B, Greene County at PCM. I don't got to say anything else. PCM's a wagon. Greene County coming off a win against Clarinda 30-6. PCM took care of Des Moines Christian 41-19 and gave up a little bit more points than they usually do. Robbins is unbelievable. PCM's unbelievable. Give me PCM.
Yeah, I have to go PCM. It's just their wrecking crew this year. You looking at a team that averages 8 yards a carry, and then just because they can, they throw the ball in 27 touchdowns, 1 interception on the year. So give me PCM.
Winner of that game will take on Mediapolis, who upset Northeast at 5-4. They will take on Mid Prairie. Mid Prairie is 6-3. These two teams played earlier this year. Mid Prairie with the win 24-8. Mediapolis has won 3 straight after losing 2 games to West Burlington and Mid Prairie. They beat Davis County, Central Lee, and Northeast. Mid Prairie has won 5 straight in their last 5. Give me Mid Prairie. They don't give up a lot of points. They've never given up more than 14 points in the last 5 games.
Yep, and I'm going to go Mid Prairie as well. I think that the draw was kind of, I know it looks like a big upset, but me and you comfortably picked Minneapolis and we'll go and win that game. So give me Mid Prairie to take this one.
Pod C, Osage at Spirit Lake. What happened to Spirit Lake last week, man? I wasn't watching, but Cherokee Washington gave them a run for their money, 31-27. Osage beat Jessup 53-13. I still think they win this week, but last week it was like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah, they're a drive away from losing. They had to go get in Lunt had to go. Was it Caden Lunt? Yeah, Caden Lunt. I was tweaking. He had to go and be a hero. And, I mean, that defense kind of got gashed a little bit last week. But I think, honestly, this week I like him even more than I did against Cherokee, Washington. So give me Spearwood.
4-5 Crestwood. The winner of that game will take on 4-5 Crestwood on the road at North Fayette Valley. Shout out the Cadets. Only came into the postseason with 3 wins, and then they upset Roland Story to get to the next round. These two teams played earlier this year. Ding, ding, ding. Sound the alarm. North Fayette Valley won 34-7. Paul, it's tough to make up 27 points. I've seen it done before, but these are two very heavily senior-led teams. North Fayette Valley is really good in the air, and Crestwood just isn't there in the air. Give me North Fayette Valley to win it.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. That's just right there with you. It's a lot of points to give up or to make up. 6 yards to carry for North Fayette Valley, and they also can throw the ball. And Crestwood doesn't do it at a high clip, so give me North Fayette Valley.
Next game, this game rocks. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong one. The next game. West Marshall, Pod D, excuse me. West Marshall on the road at Van Meter. It's tough to beat Van Meter in the postseason, man. West Marshall's had a good year. They've won 4 out of their last 5, only losses to PCM. Van Meter's only lost on the years to Humboldt. Jay Haley, very good year on the passing attack. I mean, Van Meter's just filled in. They've just done what they've needed to do. I think they take care of business and beat West Marshall here.
Yep, right there with you. It's a dynasty. And that's the team we're not really going to pick against them unless there's a jarring, like this is a really close game or something like that next week even. So give me Van Meter. They're only lost to a team that's a higher class than them. Undefeated.
This game rocks. Winner of that game will take on West Burlington at Anamosa. West Burlington 8-1. Anamosa is 8-1. Anamosa, a rally to defeat Waukon. A massive comeback to defeat Waukon 46-40. West Burlington beat Centerville 38-22. West Burlington gives up a little bit of points. Anamosa obviously gave up 40 last week. So I expect a shootout in this one. Give me West Burlington on the road. Quincy Collins, 2,251 yards on the ground and 34 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? They really can't pass the ball at all. But I think the rushing attack could help them out. Give me West Burlington to go on the road here and defeat Anamosa.
I'm going to stick with Anamosa here, and it was very scary last week to enter the playoffs and have that close of one. They did it kind of through the passing attack last week. That's how they came back. You kind of had to. I'm going to stick with Anamosa because they have the ability to do 2 things. They can pass and run at a high clip, and I honestly think that's going to be the path there.
Pod A, West Branch, or this is Class 1A, excuse me. West Branch at 3-6 is on the road at Grundy Center at 9-0. Grundy Center. They're so good.
Yeah. Give me Grundy
So
Center.
good.
It's great win by West Branch, but
yeah,
I got to go with Grundy Center.
Grundy Center. Sumner Fredericksburg at Anson NW Webster. Sumner Fred coming off the win against Beckman Catholic. Kind of a shocking one, in my opinion. 12-0. That's a Sumner Fred game if I've ever seen one. And then Manson NW Webster taking care of Hudson 18-7. They don't score a lot of points, but they sure do take care on defense. Both teams are not great at passing the ball by any means. Manson MW Webster is a little bit better at running the ball, so I'm going to give the advantage to MW Webster here, especially at home.
Yeah, I think that this is a tough one to pick for me, actually. I'm gonna rock with Sumner Fredericksburg. I think they get done on the road. That's kind of a big upset pick. I'm kind of surprised. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm surprised they haven't played. I'm surprised Sumner Fred didn't play Hudson this year. I was gonna try and compare that game. District, I forgot. It's not really a conference wise. But I'm gonna go with Sumner Fredericksburg to get upset. Kind of bold. I think 8-1. Kind of a tough pick, but I'm all right with Sumner.
Pod B, South Hamilton at Dike New Hartford. South Hamilton is, what are they? 5-4. Dike New Hartford 8-1. Dike New Hartford, Grundy Center, collision course to meet in the state championship game. I don't think you're meeting Dike New Hartford.
Yeah. Dike's on a different level. Well, I mean, we're kind of waiting we both talked about, we're kind of waiting for that matchup to get to be a rematch. They've just been, besides that game, obviously they've done what they do, and they also just shut out teams. You don't even get to score. So give me Doug Yard.
This game will be fun. Emmitsburg at 8-1 on the road to take on 8-1 South Harden. I had both these teams in the dome. And as much as I have loved what Emmitsburg has done this year, the loss to Manson NW Webster is tough. The rest of their schedule, man, has not been lights out by any means. Kind of the same thing for South Harden. I feel like these two teams have lost to the best team they've faced, and they have good wins. I like what South Harden does a little bit better all around, so give me the Tigers.
I'm going to stick with my Emmitsburg. My Emmitsburg Ehawks, man. I picked them to go to the Dome. That's kind of, I mean, this is a 50-50 game. There's not really a confident pick here. You hit it on the nail there. So I'm going to stick with Emmitsburg here. My Dome pick, but scary one. I mean, this is going to be a great game. South Harden can throw the ball at a higher clip, so that could be important.
Yeah, could get interesting. Pot C, we got a rematch. Sound the alarm. Hinton at OABCIG. It's a literal rematch. Hinton has to go on the road again. Hinton won 19-13 in the last matchup. The last two games between these two teams have been settled by 6 points each. In this case, I like revenge. Give me OABCIG.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you. I think that this is a flip game. I don't think they wanted – that sucks to have to rematch because that was a huge win for Hinton at the time. Then you just have to do it all again. And it's on the road, so give me OABCIG.
Here we go. This one's going to be fun. We got another rematch. Sound the alarm. Underwood at 5-4 on the road to take on Trainer. Underwood upsets Ridgeview 21-10. Trainer takes care of West Sioux 28-14. Trainer won this game 24-23 earlier in the season. Paul, is Underwood back in form? It just took till a postseason for them to finally figure things out again.
Might be. It honestly might be. I'm going to go with Underwood here.
I am too.
He has some great playoff experience already. I think they're firing all cylinders. And, I mean, you won by 1 point last time. That could have been a missed PAT. I mean, we can go back and check. But that could be nothing. It could have been. I mean, I'm going with Underwood here.
Pod D, Iowa City Regina on the road at Woodward Granger. What a good year for Woodward Granger. Woodward Granger beats Esac County 28-6. Regina defeats Pleasantville. Not an easy game by any means. 32-21. Regina's only loss is to Beckman Catholic 28-18. I'm gonna go with the Regals here simply because Woodward Granger, Talon Fusen, I believe is his name, the junior running back or slash tailback slash quarterback, almost has 1,000 yards in each. He is going to have to do a lot. And I always worry about the guys that are just one thing. Give me Regina here on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think that Regina's a very balanced team. They got a lot of names on that squad that are pretty good. Tracy's having a great year. Then their running back, Savion Miller's rushing at a high clip. Tate Wallace has been really good. So I'm going to go with Regina. I think it's a good game. I think Talon does his thing, but I agree. There's just kind of you're relying on one thing. And when you're playing a team that's balanced, they're going to want that. So
it's an interesting pod. MFL Marmac on the road at Wilton. MFL Marmac is 7-2. Wilton is 8-1. MFL Marmac hangs on against Albernet, a good Albernet team, 24-21. Wilton struggled early, but pulled away 38-14 over Applington Parkersburg. MFL Marmac lost to Dayton Hartford once in the last 5 games. Wilton has lost to Regina once in the last 5 games. Let's see here. MFL Marmac cannot pass the ball. 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions, 450 yards. Wilton's a little bit more balanced. Man, who do you think?
I'm going with MFL Marmac.
I was just about to say the same. I think I'm going to go with the Bulldogs.
I think that Albernet win is impressive. Albernet's a team that's kind of scary. I think you got a situation where it's had to play each other in the first round, and whoever comes out of that, you're kind of scared of them because they just came off a huge kind of 50-50 win already. They look good. They can run the ball, obviously 7 yards a carry, and made the Dome last year, so there's playoff experience there. Yeah. Their running back, Quinn McCow, went off last year in the Dome. So give me MFL Marmac.
We'll go to Class A. MMCRU at West Hancock to lead off Pod A. Good win for MMCRU over Logan Magnolia, but you're not beating West Hancock. It's a very good team. Very well disciplined.
Agree.
Yeah, they're too good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We both
best win in the class too. They beat St. Ansgar.
Woodbury Central at 7-2, taking on Galen Catholic. Woodbury Central is 7-2. Galen Catholic is 8-1. Woodbury Central. These two teams did play earlier this year. 22-21. Galen Catholic with the win. Woodbury Central's only loss in the last 5 games is to Tri-Center. They beat Sibley Ocheyedan 28-21. Galen Catholic took care of St. Albert 48-24. Give me the Jays to win again here. I think this one you avoid a revenge game. I think Galen Catholic gets on top.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I think the senior leadership here gets it done. Jackson Vershcore has been having a great year. He just is young, and I think it'll take some time, and they're gonna be really good next year probably. I mean, they got leading sophomore tackler, leading passing yard. It's a sophomore. As for the Jays, I think they get it done. I think you're right. They avoid the revenge.
Pod B, Mount Air on the road at ACGC. The TikTokers of ACGC, they've been on a TikTok tear. I swear it's all I've seen on my feed. ACGC won this game 40-14 earlier this season. Paul, what happens when a team wins 40-14 earlier in the season? They beat Wayne 28-0. Mount Air wins a thriller against Earlham 58-50. The defense worries me a little bit for Mount Air, so I'm gonna give ACGC the point here,
especially when you got Jathan South on the other end of it. I'm gonna take ACGC to get it done.
Riverside at Tri-Center. This is gonna be a good one. Riverside is 7-2. Tri-Center is 8-1. These two teams played a lot, but then after 2020 they just stopped playing each other. But Tri-Center had won 9 out of the last 11. Riverside only lost in the last 5 games as to ACGC. They barely beat Linville Sully 29-27. They also barely beat Southwest Valley 33-32. Meanwhile, Tri-Center has handled teams 41-0 against South Central Calhoun. I love Jackson Gordon. He's going to be back next year, but I think the season comes to an end here. I think Tri-Center's defense is just really good.
Yeah, I agree. My biggest issue here is Tri-Center runs it at 7 yards a carry clip, and so does Riverside, except that's not even their main point of offense. They've thrown the ball for 2,000 yards this year, so give me Tri-Center to keep you going. AJ Harder, only a sophomore, and he's throwing for 2,000 yards.
Good year. Pod C, St. Ansgar goes to Wapsie Valley, huh? Kind of one of those weird games. Wapsie Valley, 4 out of their last 5 only losses to North Tama. They did only beat Nashua Plainfield 14-13. They beat Lake Mills last week 50-6. St. Ansgar's only loss is West Hancock. It's another collision course. You know, I think St. Ansgar takes care of Wapsie Valley here.
Yeah, same. I think it. I mean, we know that's the we got a preview of a state championship type game, so I think we're both going to agree that it could probably happen again. So I'm going to go with the Saints.
Nashua Plainfield at 6-3 kind of limped into the postseason. They go to 8-1 Maquoketa Valley. Nashua has lost 3 out of their last 5 to St. Ansgar, North Butler, and Wapsie Valley. They did beat South Winneshiek, and they did beat Numa Catholic. Maquoketa Valley is on a tear. They've only given up at most 16 points in the last 5 games. They've won against Columbus 61-13. This Maquoketa Valley team is on a different level, and I'm saying they could give St. Ansgar a tough test in the next round. I will say that. I think they beat Nashua here.
Yeah, same. Nashua. I think that defensively they've been really good. I mean, most points they've given up the past 5 games is 16 points, and that was to North Lynn, who is a team that's not that bad. So I'm going to take Maquoketa Valley here. Pod
D, Bellevue at Lisbon. I'm all in on Lisbon, truly. I think this Lisbon team is destined for the Dome. They've cruised this year. In their last 5 games, they've only given up 22 points total. That's how this season has gone. Bellevue defeated Danville 43-7. They've lost to Maquoketa Valley once in their last 5 games. They did beat Northland. They did beat Starmont, but I like Lisbon here. Lisbon's just on a tear.
Yep, I'm going to take Lisbon as well. That team, you kind of stole it from me, man. 3 shutouts in the past 5 games. You know? And they also beat Danville 57. They both did blow up Danville, so maybe there's something there, but I got to go with Lisbon.
And finally, for Pod D, Pekin on the road at Madrid. Pekin's only loss is Lisbon. Madrid has lost to Earlham and Woodward Granger. Yeah. Preston Wicker's playing at a great level, man. I mean, this is the team that made the Dome last year. A little bit tougher this year, just kind of all around. This is a battle of two quarterbacks. I mean, Will Adam does it both for Pekin. Preston Wicker does it both for Madrid. Oh, boy. I'm going to go Madrid. A little bit tougher of a schedule, in my opinion, so I'm going to go the Tigers.
Yep, I agree with you. And I think that the Dome experience from last year comes big here. And Preston Wicker, we know it's been a name for a while now. So give me Preston Wicker. And
finally, on to 8-player, Pod A, Arweva at Lennox. Gabe Funk. That's all I got to say. Lennox wins.
Yeah, Lennox wrecking crew this year. No reason to not pick him.
Bedford at Montezuma. You got two young quarterbacks. Quentin Dalton, sophomore quarterback. Garrison Montsinger's been great. And then Brady Bolton on the side for Montezuma. Montezuma is 9-1. They've won their last 5 games. They beat Winfield Mount Union 61-54, and then Bedford beat Belle Plaine 18-12. I like Belle Plaine's defense way more than I like Montezuma's. Give me Bedford.
Yeah, Bedford only losses to Lennox, right?
Lennox, yep. So we're setting up for a nice little rematch.
I'll go with Bedford here as well. Although last week kind of concerned me a little bit.
It was but Belle Plaine's a good team, man. I mean, they beat Iowa Valley. They're a good defensive team. So, nothing against Belle Plaine. I mean, that's a very talented team.
Mm-hmm.
Pod B, Riceville at Bishop Garrigan. It's been a great season for Riceville all across the board. You're not beating Bishop Garrigan. They're just a little too big. I don't even have to look at Riceville, but I'm just going to guess that Bishop Garrigan is way too big. So give me the Golden Bears to get it done.
Yeah, I cannot see myself picking against Bishop Garrigan. And holy cow, that's insane. Riceville is 84.5 tackles for loss this year.
They get in the backfield.
Apparently
Winner of that game. Yeah, well, that's true. Winner of that game takes on Janesville at Edgewood Colesburg. This is going to be an awesome game. Edgewood Colesburg quietly 9-0. Janesville is 8-1. Both these teams can run the ball. Edgewood Colesburg has run for 3,332 yards this year. Price Rockford is everywhere. He is the leading tackler on the team. He has 4 fumble recoveries, 3 interceptions. He's run for 2,182 yards, and he's passed for 561 yards. I mean, dang. Janesville is 4 out of their last 5, only losses to Gladbrook Rhinebeck. They beat St. Edmund last week, 56-14. Edgewood Colesburg beat BGM 92-56. The 56 worries me a little bit, but I don't think Janesville's offense is the same as Edgewood Colesburg's. I picked against Edgewood Colesburg last week. Do I do it again?
I'm sticking with them. Sticking with the Price Rock.
Yeah, give me Edgewood Colesburg. Yeah, give me Edgewood Colesburg.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Price is ridiculous this year.
Waco, 8-1, taking on Don Bosco at 9-0. The Dons are back. Kyler Kanak playing really well. 827 yards rushing, 23 touchdowns, 727 yards passing, 12 touchdowns. Don Bosco got a win over Springville 66-19. They have scored more than 60 points in the last 5 games. And Waco beat Central City 39-16. Give me Dons. Give me the Don Bosco Dons. Championship caliber, man.
I want to agree with you there. And Kyler Knack's been playing at an insane level. Leads them in tackles, rushing, and passing. So give me Don Bosco.
Another really good one. There's a lot of really good 8-player games. 8-1 Iowa Valley at 8-1 Gladbrook Rhinebeck. Nolan Kriegel, the sophomore, a do-it-all kind of guy. Actually do not have as many passing yards as Gladbrook Rhinebeck. Gladbrook Rhinebeck has 0 interceptions. That is crazy. They don't turn the ball over. Iowa Valley, 4 out of their last 5, gave up 48 points. I mean, they give up points, man. They gave up 48 to Southeast Warren, 30 to Belle Plaine, 36 to HLV, 30 to Winfield Mount Union, 16 to English Valley. I mean, Gladbrook gave up 30 last week to Key, gave up 32 to Janesville, but I like the Rebels to get things done here.
Yeah, I think Gladbrook gets it done. This is a team that went to the Dome last year and was experienced. Yeah, give me Gladbrook to get it done. They're really good.
Cam, that
the top team in the state. Sorry.
Yeah.
Their only loss. I can't remember who it was against. It was
Gladbrook?
Don Bosco.
Yeah, they lost Don Bosco.
So,
Cam at Remsen, St. Mary's. This is a rematch from the Dome a couple of years ago when Cam and Cam Speaker beat Remsen St. Mary's. 9-0, Remsen St. Mary's 7-0, Cam. Cam is really playing well. They beat GTRA 67-64 last week. You love to see it. They did lose to Fremont Mills back on October 11th, 40-28. Remsen has just cruised. Give me Remsen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Remsen's a wrecking crew. A lot of people had them as preseason number one. I can't pick against them.
And finally, Woodbine at Audubon. Woodbine is 8-1. Audubon is 9-0. Audubon obviously has cruised. They beat East Mills 38-7. Woodbine beat Collins Maxwell 50-14. I got to go with the little bit better offense, in my opinion. I got to go with Woodbine here to get it done on the road. And I think you get a Woodbine-Remsen matchup or a rematch in the final here.
Yeah, I got to go Woodbine here. My big thing here is Collins Maxwell hung in with Audubon, and then Woodbine just rocked them. Granted, it was a playoff game, so maybe there's more urgency there, but I got to go with Woodbine here. Really talented. We've kind of talked about them. They're one of the better public school 8-man teams there is, besides maybe Lennox and Bedford. So give me Woodbine.
Gotta love it. All right, Paul. That is all 56 games. Can you believe it?
We did good. Good piece of fishing.
Well, actually, yeah, 56 games. I know math. That's it, man. I mean, it's going to be a really fun week. We'll be on it, posting everything on Friday night. I'll be at Valley, Collin Valley, and Sioux City East. But that's all we got. Stay safe, everyone, for your Halloween. If you're out trick-or-treating, enjoy your Friday.